change management. So change is persistent. So change is inevitable, and people need to understand that when you do large scale transformation, and it must be driven through top down approach. You need to engage management wherever you feel that it is very important, which is, and then it may impact the transformation in either way. At Solar, things are changing very dynamically, very rapidly, and when the changes are at very rapid pace, then you need to take help of technology. And especially after COVID, people are adopting technology at faster pace. And so when we thought about our digital transformation, we started looking at what is to be done. So we have done the baselining of our core business system.
How do you build buy-in across the organization and ensure that the tech investments that you are, adopting, they truly drive the adoption and have a real impact?
So absolutely, I would rather say that it's more to do with people rather than technology platform, because technology, you get people outside your company to implement, you get best skills, you get good resources out there. But if people are not aligned, if people don't know the effectiveness of the technology, they will never use it, and they will not adopt it, however get the technology might. So the important thing is that you need to have people structure in place while you do any technology transformation.
Hello everyone, I am Simran Shiwalkar, your host for today. We are back with a new episode of Voice of CIO. In this episode of Voice of CIO, we have Mr. Shailendra Tiwari. He is currently a Chief Information Officer at Solar Industries India Ltd. He is a digital leader driving transformation in one of the India's most complex industrial sectors, steering large-scale IT deployments to aligning business and tech during high-stakes moments like demergers. Shailendra brings a future-forward yet grounded perspective to what it truly means to lead IT in a dynamic, evolving enterprise. Firstly, Mr. Tiwari, thank you so much for joining us in this episode and being with us here today.
Yeah, thank you, Simran.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with your experience. You have led digital transformation through complex phases like demergers and consolidations. If you could tell us what has been some of the biggest lessons that you've learned, when it comes to using technology to bring structure and stability during such dynamic shifts.
Well, many lessons are there, okay, and I've been part of digital transformation since last 15 years. The difference is the approach, each digital transformation. So, but then I will tell out my experience and the approach what I follow. The approach is 3C approach to drive any transformation, which is common across. Okay. If I would talk about the first C, it's clarity of the objective of the transformation. So you must be very clear, your stakeholders must be very clear, it must be understood very thoroughly by each and every segment of user, whether it is an end user, whether it is your middle management, whether it is a top management. So you need to enforce the clarity of the objective so that everyone is on the same page. Second, C is very important in the journey, which is change management. So change is persistent. So change is inevitable, and people need to understand that when you do large scale transformation, and it must be driven through top down approach. You need to engage management wherever you feel that it is very important, which is, and then it may impact the transformation in either way, whether it will be take out best out of your team, or it will also take the transformation on the flip side. So change management is very important, okay, and you need to identify the change drivers across the people who are adaptive to the change. Those are most important. Those will be change driver. The people who are resisting to the change, because those are also important. You need to convert their resistance into the welcoming aspect of the change. So second is the C, change management. The last C is very effective and apt, which normally people forget while the large scale of transformation. And it's all about the communication. What, when, why, you are doing, and what are the things happening around. You also need to be very cautious about choosing your words. Okay, normally the digital leaders, they use a lot of jargon, and the people who are going to use technology, they know the jargon, but they are not clear. So you need
Correct.
to be very clear about the communication.
Absolutely. And I think when you say you need to be clear about the words, the kind of, communication that is being sent out, what is the goal and the vision? Along these lines, I think especially for solar industries, it has come a long way when it comes to adopting new technologies. We're also hearing about tools and, technologies like Ariba and IBP, which I'm sure you're well versed with. What is the vision behind this integrated approach and how has it changed the way different teams work and collaborate?
So, if you don't have vision, then you don't embark on the journey of digital transformation. So, at Solar, things are changing very dynamically, very rapidly. And when the changes are at very rapid pace, then you need to take help of technology. And especially after COVID, people are adopting technology at faster pace. And so when we thought about our digital transformation, we started looking at what is to be done. So we have done the baselining of our core business system. So we implemented S4HANA way back in 2017-18, and then our business is running on the core ERP. And later on, when we got stable on S4HANA, we thought that let us also bring business partners like vendors on the technology platform so that supply chain is very effective. And hence we also brought SAP IBP in place. So now we have three channels. Okay, one is Solar internal stakeholder which are on SAP ERP. One which is our vendor whom we have onboarded through Ariba, and the important part of supply chain, okay, which is very collaborative in nature. Okay, so our planning team as well as the people who are effective in supply chain, they are onboarded on the technology stack. So we have enabled a technology stack to empower business, to empower our stakeholder to stay ahead in the competition. And the reason why we took help of technology, because the whatever decision we take, it should be very informative, it should be data driven, okay, and it should be, everyone should be on the same page.
Absolutely.
So collaboration is easy and effective if there is a seamless integration, not only technologically, but also in terms of people and process.
Rightly said. So, thank you so much, Mr. Tiwari, for highlighting that. Again, moving on along the same lines, like you said, digital transformation is as much about people as it is about the platforms because it's not just about technology; it's about the whole process. Teams that are collaborating with each other. From your experience, how do you build buy-in across the organization and ensure that the tech investments that you are adopting they truly drive the adoption and have a real impact?
So absolutely, I would rather say that it's more to do with people rather than technology platform, because technology, you get people outside your company to implement, you get best skills, you get good resources out there. But if people are not aligned, okay, people don't know the effectiveness of the technology, they will never use it. And they
Right.
will not adopt it, however get the technology might. So the important thing is that you need to have people structure in place while you do any technology transformation. People are very important, okay, so as process as well. So you must conceive team structure before you start thinking about transformation. There should be mix of enthusiasts, experienced people, strategic thinkers to be part of team. The responsibility metrics should be at very granular level. People should know that what they are expected to do, okay,
Right.
and how they are going, how the technology is going to be effective for them. You must have the people who are doer. You must have the people who are going to take decision on behalf of them, and you must have people who govern entire transformation.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Tiwari, you've also heard that we are commonly coming across a new term which says future ready infrastructure. But, when you're building enterprise IT at very large scale, what does this truly mean when you say future ready infrastructure? Do you mean there is a lot of adoption of technological advancements that is happening? And how do you balance this along with, resilience at one side and agility at one end?
Okay, so see, future ready nowadays, future is divided into three buckets. You have a short term future, you have mid term, and you have a long term future. Okay, and you need to have very cohesive engagement with business, which gives you clarity in terms of where and how business is expanding. Accordingly, you can shape up your IT landscape. So I cannot just talk about future ready in terms of long term perspective because business will not wait. Business is very dynamic. It is going to grow rapidly or it will change the shape in the due course of time. And your technology should be ready for adoption as well as to help them out. Okay, the challenges they face in the field. So for me, it is what do you need and when do you need.
Correct.
Okay, the item in the big bucket gives the opportunity to assess technology and pave the roadmap. So when you follow this approach, agility automatically comes and it is taken care of. And the most important element is how you grow with the evolution of technology. You get very little time to evaluate technology comprehensively, complete procurement stage, deploy and sustain. Very easy to say, but very difficult to implement the future ready infrastructure which is apt for your business.
So in that case, do you think a lot of businesses are still on the verge of, becoming future ready? Is just a kind of buzzword, maybe one can say, and a kind of trend that has come across over the years that has been built.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's everyone is IT savvy nowadays. If you talk from on your personal front or professional front, so people are talking about technology. But in true sense, if you see from the lens of the technologies, okay, they have a different view. They want to adopt they know the challenge, they know when, what, and how to do.
Right.
Okay. The challenge is more on that, their front.
Superb. And lastly, from perspective, we are currently in an industry where innovation is always the first instinct, whether you're from, healthcare, whether you're from solar industries, no matter the industrial sector. So how do you come up or how do you kind of support or foster a mindset where digital curiosity is at the priority and also there's a continuous improvement and growth happening within the teams itself?
Okay, so though we don't innovate in digital space as an industry, but you look at the past, the ideas, the necessity is generated at the place where innovation is effectively. So we work in that kind of environment. So as I said, that people know technology nowadays. Okay, so any innovation is mostly a digital innovation. People, so they try to see the problem. They try to before we give them solution, they come up with the solution. Can we do it in this way? So a lot of opportunities nowadays are created by business. Keep ourselves ahead of time. So I always proactively engage with business, try to give them the outside in perspective that how we can innovate from business side. When it comes to my team, I always proactively mentor them to empower them personally and professionally. So it's very important because unless they put themselves in the shoe of business stakeholder, they will not understand the expectation. And unless they understand the expectation, they'll not be able to upskill themselves or get themselves motivated to think innovatively, to see that what best we can do for business. So once they adopt the growth mindset and they understand that what is the requirement, how to innovate, then learning become imperative. So I
Absolutely.
provide them platform to learn, give them individual responsibility, and altogether it's a continuous cycle. So one cannot stop, at least in the technology world.
Rightly said so. Again, before we wrap up, I also have another question for you. Looking ahead, what's one emerging technology or any kind of shift that you as a leader or you someone coming from this space for a long time, you as a leader are most excited about or rather cautious about any one technology that you find right now?
See, I'm cautious and excited about the application of artificial intelligence. So, everyone nowadays wants to be part of the race, and everyone is looking for the use case and be successfully implemented. So, though everyone talks about it, but understanding where it is applicable, where it is effective, and what cautions we must take before we choose any use case, that is important. So you need to empower yourself first, you need to empower your team, you need to empower your business. And then once you, as I said earlier, that once you have team in place at the time of conception, then you can begin your journey with the like-minded people to accomplish it.
Well said. So, I mean, with the convergence of AI and all the businesses wanting to jump on the bandwagon, whether it's agentic AI or Gen AI, I think there is the other side of AI that I think from an individual and business perspective as well, we need to be cautious and careful about. Thank you so much, Mr. Tiwari, for this conversation, for being so candid and insightful at the same time. And while we wrap up, I'm sure our audience has a lot to take away from today's conversation.
Thank you so much, Simran, for giving the platform.
Thank you as well. Thank you so much.